here we are. This is Sex Love Psychedelics, and I'm your host, Dr. Kat, bringing you psychosexual conversations that will leave you intellectually turned on and hungry for more.
I came across this quote that martial artists use, and they say that in any situation, the most powerful person in the room is the one who's the most relaxed. And I think for so many of us, we're conditioned to think that power is loud. Power is, loud.
Yeah.
We fight over each other to be heard or to be seen. And you are this example of just like quiet, penetrating power. And I'm so curious, that's where I want to start, how you came to realize that power could be different, that it doesn't have to be loud.
Yeah. I think it started as I became a dominatrix, and I think I also had ideas of what power was and who a dominatrix is. And I think we have this like canonical image of this woman who's like bitchy and loud and just sounds like a really icy queen. It just didn't feel right for me to be in scene with my sub that way. I think I am by nature pretty quiet, and I think I found a way to be myself while still being the top and the dom. And it is a presence that is quieter. I don't raise my voice, and I think that I like it when people have to be really quiet to hear me. It's like, it's learning how to just be myself and letting go of what I think I should be if I were to be this woman or dom in power. And maybe there's a lot of meditation too. Helped a lot. I think like if you're asking about like how can you like exude this presence that feels so relaxed, I think it's definitely the practice of meditation, which has quieted the voice inside of what should I say, what should I do. I'm just like really present in the space because I want to take in everything. And I've come to realize that power is actually being able to be fully present, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have this voice in your head that's like saying, oh, maybe you should do this, maybe you should say that, what should I say next? That takes away your presence. And the person who has the most power in any dynamic or situation is the one who's most present and has the fullest like perception and grasp on that reality. And so when you think about like being in a session with a sub, they're thinking about how they feel, they're thinking about what she's going to do to them, all these things. And the one who's like most in their head is the one who's giving away their power to the situation, to their fantasy, to the dom, to whomever it is. And so I think I've just like in my own way learned that, being present is really powerful. That awareness is really powerful.
Yeah, that's something that you said in your mistress class. So for my audience, I took Colette's mistress class, which is it was a 6-week course helping individuals to be able to, access this power, access their inner dominatrix. And you said something in there that I've referred to multiple times since, but you said the learning the difference between subconsciousness and self-consciousness in a power dynamic.
Right.
Could you explain to our audience more about that? Because I think you're touching on that here.
Right. Yeah. It was this kind of play on words that I came up with. It's a line that I use to kind of help the doms like remember how to regain their power. And it's and the line is like, the dom is subconscious, and it's a play on words, being conscious of the sub, and the sub is self-conscious. And so if you think about it, if you're conscious of the other person, how they're feeling, what the experience is like for them, then you have the most power in this dynamic. And it's the one who is self-conscious is the one who is playing the submissive part, because the submissive or the one who is self-conscious is in their head. They're locked in their fantasy. They're projecting the fantasy onto the situation. They don't have a full grasp of reality the way that the dom does, because she knows exactly what the sub is thinking, feeling, what their desires and fantasies are, and she's weaving it into the scene. And so if you are ever in any situation inside a BDSM session or even outside, just remember the sub is self-conscious. Are you feeling self-conscious right now? Then what do you do to inflect that? And I think that the way to do that is to make the other person be conscious of themselves. And it could be asking them questions, right? And now they have to think. And, you know, in a session, I would just ask, like, and how does it feel when I do this to you? Right? Even that, right? Now they're being self-conscious. And then say you're on a date with somebody that you're kind of a little bit nervous around because you're like, oh, they're really cute, and I hope I don't feel dumb. Then you could just be like, so ask them a question about themselves, like, so what made you want to come here today, right? Like, all of that is putting you in a place of power by being the curious one, being the most observant one that's like has the widest perception of what's going on.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for tuning in, lovers. And if you want to experience more ecstasy and sexual liberation, head over to sexlovepsychedelics.com and learn about how you can join me for any one of my online or live events. And while you're there, grab my free guide on sex and psychedelics. Remember, this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please contact your healthcare provider and local law before pursuing any of the products or psychedelics discussed. And one final note here. I make this show specifically for you. If you're loving the show, then be sure to leave me a review in iTunes or Spotify to let me know. Happy to be here and happy to serve. I'll see you next time on Sex Love Psychedelics.